Hi everyone, Ryan here from Fight Game Analysis, and today we are going to be talking about the counterpunching of Manny Pacquiao. But before we jump into that, if you've been enjoying the content, please go ahead and click on the like button and also subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate your support. All right, Manny Pacquiao. When you talk about this guy, you have to mention his name amongst some of the all-time greats of boxing. 8-division world champion. But it's not just about that, as if that isn't enough. It's the way in which he did it. He consistently moved up the ranks and turned in incredibly impressive performances among some of the biggest names of his generation. Now, all of us know Manny Pacquiao for scoring these blistering knockouts, coming out there landing the left hand, great combinations, just shining. But you don't reach the heights that he's reached just by doing that. He's got more subtleties and nuances to his game. And one of the things that he does great that doesn't really get mentioned a lot is his counterpunching. He's able to take what his opponents give him and build off of that. So what I want to do in this video is analyze some of the film from his past fights and pinpoint some of the ways that he's able to use that counterpunching effectively. The first fight that I want to take a look at is against Miguel Cotto. Going in this one, a lot of people figured that Miguel would want to establish the jab as a way to control the fight. And right from the opening bell, that's exactly what we saw. Cotto's able to come out, he's able to use his size, his reach, his timing, and he's able to begin to land a jab on Pacquiao. And Cotto had a good jab, and once he started to land it, Pacquiao wasn't able to get his offense going. You see, Cotto's able to land with some power. That jab allowed Cotto to dictate the distance and break up Pacquiao's rhythm. And even when it didn't land, it allowed Cotto to be the aggressor and hold the center of the ring. Even in this sequence here, we can see that Manny doesn't quite have his spacing yet. Tries to jump in, land the left hand, but Cotto's able to avoid it. He steps and pivots out. Manny just doesn't have his distance yet. Cotto won that first round, and the story of it was his jab. So Pacquiao knew that going into the second, he was going to have to counter that jab if he wanted to get things going. As soon as the second round starts, Cotto goes back to working that jab, and Manny fires right back against it with a 1-2. Doesn't land, but it just lets Cotto know that something's going to start coming back at him. And later on in the round, we can see that Pacquiao starts to get the timing. Now Cotto throws the jab, and Manny gets his head off the center line, and he starts to throw that left hand with Cotto. He's matching that straight left hand to Cotto's jab. He can even start to go to the body with it once he feels really comfortable. Once he gets that timing, that's all he needs. From there, he starts to get his combinations off. You can see right here, it was a quick little check right hook that led to that first knockdown in the third round. Cotto comes in behind that jab, and Manny stands his ground and counters with that sharp check right hook. That stuns Cotto. Pacquiao was able to follow up and score the knockdown. That was the counterpunch that started off that whole sequence that led to that knockdown. The next fight that I want to take a look at is against Ricky Hatton. Same thing as with the fight with Cotto. Hatton comes into this fight, and you know that he wants to work behind the jab. Pre-fight buildup, he said he wants to apply more pressure to Pacquiao than he'd ever experienced in the past. Soon as the opening bell rings, you can see that's exactly what he's doing. Hatton's trying to get inside. He's trying to do his work at close range. Just trying to apply tremendous pressure to Pacquiao with his feet. Always moving forward and always trying to start off everything that he's doing by working behind that jab. But it only takes about 30 seconds in this one for Manny to start to land the first significant counterpunch. Hatton's got the center of the ring. He starts to move in to attempt to back Pacquiao up. And as soon as he's in distance, he fires off a jab. Pacquiao sees that jab coming, slips his head slightly out of the way, and at the same time, fires back his own check right hook. Hatton's momentum brings him in perfectly into range, and Manny just lands a beautiful shot. About 45 seconds later, we see Pacquiao throw a feint. Here he's trying to draw something out of Hatton. Shoots a jab that lands short. This time Hatton takes the bait, moves in with a jab of his own, and the trap is set. Pacquiao steps back and fires another beautiful, perfect counter right hook that lands cleanly on Hatton. Just beautiful counterpunching by Pacquiao. And the last fight that I want to take a look at here is against Jesse Vargas. Different fight, same story for Manny Pacquiao. Going against a taller opponent with a longer reach. And Vargas tried to come out and immediately start to establish the jab, establish the distance as a way to control the fight. So as soon as this fight starts, Vargas starts to work behind the jab and the long right hands. He was seeing a lot less success with it than Cotto, but yet he had a similar game plan in mind. That's how he wanted to control the distance of this fight. A lot of his punches ended up falling short, but it was still preventing Manny from getting his rhythm, from getting his own offense going. For Pacquiao to really see some success in this fight, he was going to have to figure out a way around the jab. By the end of the second round, he was able to land the perfect counterpunch. Pacquiao's got some great timing, and it showed right here against Vargas. As soon as Vargas starts to throw the jab, Manny immediately gets his head off the center line, throws his own counter left. Manny's able to land, and he's able to land with power, puts Vargas down. That was a big moment in the fight, and it wasn't done with the typical aggressive actions that most people associate with Manny Pacquiao. It was done with counterpunching. You don't get to the heights that Manny Pacquiao has without having a full arsenal available to you, and counterpunching is just one of the many available tools that Manny Pacquiao brings to the table. So let me know what you guys think. Has the counterpunching of Manny Pacquiao been underrated his whole career? Or is it just that everything else he does is that much better? Let me know what you guys think.